Welcome to Waste Your Time Wisely podcast.
I'm glad you beat the game of Zoom. Where are you now?
Are squatting in
Squatting in Auckland at the moment, South Auckland.
Oh, nice. Are you guys are leaving New Zealand soon, right?
tonight. Yeah.
This is exciting.
Uh,
I'm glad I got you in the last minute. I was wondering how you guys ended up in New Zealand. I know you guys made videos, but for the uninitiated, I was wondering what made you guys go to New Zealand and like what process kind of brought you there.
yeah, sure. Well, I suppose go back a couple of years. It's COVID in the UK, and we kind of only been together for like a year or two, um, and locked inside. Couldn't really do anything for like a year and a half. We'd had a bunch of trips cancelled. We'd finally gone on this Croatia trip, which was great, and where we met you. We knew we just wanted to do a big adventure. Like we'd been stuck inside, hadn't really done anything for a while, and yeah, we just really wanted to get out and explore. And but we wanted to not just go for a holiday. We wanted to go and work and live abroad. And Charlotte's a physio. There's only certain places where they'll accept a British like physio qualification. You want to touch on that?
A couple of countries in the world, like 5, the physio degrees match quite similarly, and then you can transfer your degree over. So New Zealand was basically one of the easiest and nicest ones to do that from the UK to New Zealand. And the others, like Canada and Australia, are really hard. So I think Canada was up on the list as well. But because it was so hard to do and I don't speak fluent French, I was like, right, New Zealand is definitely the one. It's got the mountains, it's got the snow, it's got everything that we love, and we love Lord of the Rings. So there you go, pretty much
Uh,
it.
like a win-win. Was America one of them at all?
I can't transfer my degree to America actually because America's it's a doctor of physical therapy they have, so they don't have the transfers over. It's very different, so it'd actually be very hard. I could become a physio assistant, but it's actually quite a step down from what I do now. So no, it's the answer to that.
See, lots of issue with our countries. Was anything holding you guys back from initially leaving?
Just COVID, really. New Zealand had their borders closed completely for ages, and that was the only thing that we were really waiting on. We also had like, you have like a 1 year house contract, 1 year work contracts, and things like that. So all of those we were just waiting to expire, and it was kind of like a right. We either renew all these contracts for another year and keep doing what we're doing, or we cancel them all and we go in. Like I think it was August. We decided to start traveling, and yeah, we were like, right, it's now or never. Because if we did another year in those jobs and houses and stuff, it would be sort of another year into our 30s, and it's like, can we really afford to do that now? Kind of to buy a house and do all that stuff. Um, so yeah, it was just sort of like, right now, or never. It's now. Let's go. And yeah, booked our tickets. Started. We wanted to make a bit of a trip out of it as well. So we travelled via Asia, went and explored some Vietnam. I also had a friend getting married, totally random in Malaysia. She's half Malaysian. So we went to her wedding on sort of as the first step of the trip.
Hmm.
Had a wedding for like half a week or a week, and then we started our trip from there. And it just meant we had all these wedding clothes in our bag, and we're backpacking, so you don't have much space at all. And you've got all these smart clothes taking up like 30 of your bag. It's quite funny.
Not only are you guys fellow travelers, and obviously I met you guys on the road, but I've been keeping an eye on like your roads and travels and maps and apps and all the cool stuff. So I'm a big fan. Where was I? I was in Italy, and I remember I met this girl, and I was in like a t-shirt and like jeans, and she's like, "Do you want to go clubbing?" And I'm like, "I don't have clubbing clothes." She's like, "You should go shopping." I'm like, "I don't know if I could do this." So I like browsed. I think I was in Pompeii,
Oh
and she's
yeah.
like, you want to go clubbing tonight?" I'm like, "I don't have." I was in like a shirt you're wearing and jeans and like a sweater. So I know. So were you guys okay? Did you have to rent a suit, or did you have a?
It was pretty relaxed. It was like chinos, linen shirts, like stuff that I could just like get away with wearing in some other
Yeah.
places.
You
But
guys,
not like a full suit. No.
you guys don't.
Um,
You guys didn't have to like rob a store or anything, or
Yeah.
no, no, no. We did ask in advance. I think because I don't know. I'd say at least half of the wedding party were coming from the UK, and
Mhm.
we're all in the same boat. Like can't take like tons of suits across the world, and especially linen. Like it just gets like
Yeah.
creased so quick.
Mhm.
So it was pretty relaxed. Like the grooms wore in their suits, and everyone else was kind of in. Some people had a jacket. I just went for a shirt. And
That's good. Props to the the couple to have like a pretty lenient dress code. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was still great fun though, and everyone looked great. But yeah, it was like what 30 plus degrees. Yeah, so hot day to get married.
Was that the first country you went to after England?
Oh no, we actually stopped in Singapore for a couple nights just to crash. Longest direct flight you can really get from the UK goes to Singapore. I think there is straight to Australia actually, but yeah, Singapore really easy. Laid over for like 2 3 nights. Kind of got around the jet lag because it's like a good 9 10 hours from there.
Yeah.
Time difference. And just explored Singapore because it's a really really cool city. But I think you can pretty much do it in like 2 3 days. Um, like it's cool, but it's small. And then yeah, direct flight from there to Penang, the island of Penang in Malaysia, and then went to the wedding. And then we went to Ho Chi Minh in Vietnam, and then we got like planes, buses, trains the whole way up Vietnam for like 2 weeks. Saw tons of Vietnam. Did a few of the like big touristy things like Halong Bay, um, and a few of the big cities, but then also some really road like out there, like walks and stuff in the middle of nowhere. Cool.
In Vietnam, did you guys see any of those like tunnels, like those war tunnel, like the Viet Cong tunnels?
Oh, you know what? On our
Don't we?
yeah, our first day in Ho Chi Minh, Charlotte was just happened to be really sick on the very first day, and that was the day we had planned to go see the tunnels. So yeah, we missed it. But I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, you can go in. I don't know. There's like a little plate with dirt,
Yeah.
and you can sit inside it, pop out, and yeah,
I have a
go see all
weird
the tramps.
I have a weird bet with like punch. I think my family's on it too. They have wagers saying they don't think I'll fit. They think I'll either get stuck. So there's a bet that I can't fit, I'll fit, or I'll get stuck. I think those are the three bets. There's like a whole going.
Very nice places, to be fair. Yeah, I'll probably get stuck.
Yeah, you're
But
pretty
I remember just sticking out like a sore thumb, like being at least half a foot, 2 foot taller than most people around.
fitting in the not fitting in the box. Just popping out.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a very personal question. Feel free to answer or not. How did you get Gandalf the van?
Oh, Gandalf the van. Yeah, so Facebook Marketplace, you'd be surprised, is like how most trading is done in New Zealand. I was baffled by it.
Yeah.
There is another website called like Trade Me, which is like it's for like anything and everything. So yeah, there's not many like official. There are some official businesses, but you know they're selling vans that are like way above our pay grade. We were just looking for a cheap one that we could sort of do a few things ourselves with. So yeah, Facebook Marketplace found this French guy who had a warehouse full of like secondhand vans down in like South Auckland. I've visited a bunch of other ones around the city as well, but some of them were just like falling apart or yeah, not quite what we're looking for either. Like really small, like almost um like a Nissan L, like almost like big cars that were sort of van-ish, like people carriers. But this was like proper like tradie van. They'd call it around here, like workman's van. And this guy just had like a warehouse just full of like 50 vans. Half of them were sort of done up, half of them were in the process of being done up, half of them were like rusting out the back.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's like, yeah, I've got these ones ready. And there's like 3 or 4 main types of van here because we're so close to Japan. I say 80 90% of the cars here are all Japanese, like
Yeah.
Toyota, Hyundai, Mitsubishi. Yeah, almost all the vans were those. And we found this one Kia, and which is like, is it Swedish? Yeah, yeah. And no idea why I like that one, but we were just like, you know what, this van is bigger than the rest of them. It had a bed that, like, I'm 6'2", and it had a bed that fit me. So we kind of got hooked on that van, and the kilometers hadn't done like too many Ks, like 240,000 Ks. Were pretty good. So yeah, went and bought it, and then it broke a bunch of times real early on, which is real fun. Obviously you don't know about all this stuff until you start owning a van. Like you need to have 2 batteries.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you need to have 2 batteries. So like I know your fridge and all the stuff in the back powers off one. But the guy didn't fit a regulator, so we had the fridge going. Went off for a walk one day. It like died because it wasn't a very good battery, and then it like killed the front battery as well because there was nothing like stopping it. So like literally our first adventure in the van, flat battery, middle of nowhere. Had to like we haven't think we had insurance yet. Like calling up the AA to come rescue us. Plenty of issues with that. But slowly you start learning. Okay, I need to put a regulator in. I need to put a bigger battery in. And we just started tinkering with it throughout the year we were living in Auckland. Yeah, putting in little things, some nets and some more doors and stuff like that, just to make it real comfy inside.
So you picked up. You're like an engineer and a mechanic. You became a mechanic. You became an engineer.
I wouldn't say I knew anything about mechanics.
The Kiwis are fantastic
Yeah.
with tinkering. They just tinker away. They know everything. But we're amateurs in comparison. You just got to learn on as you go, really.
Yeah, that's a great thing. Everyone wants to help. They love like having a tinker and playing around
Yeah,
with.
the Kiwis I met in Los Angeles, I don't think I've ever met a rude one, and I don't think and I don't want to generalize, but I don't think I've ever met a rude Kiwi, and I never met like an unpleasant Kiwi. They're all very pleasant, very cheery too, very
Yeah.
knowledgeable with things that
Yeah,
I'm not sure why, but yeah. So that was great.
yeah. No matter where you go, they always want to chat. You could be just walking in the middle of nowhere, and you know how like sometimes if there's not many people around, you sort of just might keep yourself to yourself. They're just like, oh hey, how you doing? What are you doing on this beach? Oh, you're English. Oh, where are you from in England? They're just straight in. Everyone wants to have a chat, know where you're from, know what you're about.
They're very accommodating as well, so they're always like wanting to put you up, wanting to cook if you wanted to do stuff for you, and it's no hassle to them. So yeah.
It was cool working in Auckland for a year, and I was working in this warehouse, and like there's loads of Pacific islands really close to New Zealand, and
Mhm.
everyone that in the warehouse was like from Samoa or Tonga or Fiji,
Yeah.
and yeah, they're just like unbelievably nice people that just wanted to know all about you, and just really easy to chat to. And when we said that we were going on this trip, like so many people were like, "Oh, I have a cousin or a brother or a sister that lives in this place. Do you want to go and stay with them for a night on your journey?" And you're just like, "What? I don't know, I
Nice.
don't know this person." But yeah, it's just really, really, really nice to just
Taking notes, taking notes. Yeah.
yeah. I didn't take many people up, but it was just nice that just people were just like, "Oh yeah," even though you don't know them, go and stay at this person's house, or you park your car on their driveway or whatever in this town.
Did you guys pick up any fun Kiwi slang?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
So they say things like, yeah, nah, yeah. So in response to your question, so there might be, yeah, nah, yeah, and you're like, is that a yes or a no? I'm not really sure yet.
Yeah.
they're like, "Nah, yeah," is like, "Yeah, I'll do that," but "Nah, yeah, no, yeah, nah," is like, "Nah, can't be asked." It's just I don't really know. It's just it's a weird one. There's loads of funny little words like what I'd called flip flops. Like you
Like
guys see
sandals,
flip
right?
flops in America?
Yeah, yeah,
Sandals?
sandals, yeah.
Jandals.
Here they're called jandals, and in Australia they're called thongs.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they call it thongs, yeah.
Yeah,
They use the term like far out, and so like they're like, oh, far out, and you're like, I don't get what that means. It's just kind of an acknowledgement, I would say, just as like to a story. Yeah, so those are cool. I guess it's not slang, but like kia ora is like welcome or hello, which is quite a nice term that everyone says a greeting to
Mhm.
each other. Yeah, tiki tour is what we were on. Everyone was like, you're going on a tiki tour, which is like you're taking your van and you're just going around the country, or
yeah.
tiki
Or
trail, or going for a walk in the bush.
if your house is like out in the bush in the middle of nowhere, they'll be like, "Ah, so you're in the what wops, living in the what wops." Yeah, there's some really cool ones.
I'm a big fan of, New Zealand films, so when I hear some slang in a New Zealand film, I have to, like, pause it and Google it. I'm like, "Hmm, charming, charming." You guys have been there do you know how long you've been there?
16 months in New Zealand, 18 months away from home though, because we did a bit of traveling beforehand.
Gotcha. You're not running from the law or the queen or the king or
No, no,
I can't confirm or deny that.
yeah, no,
yeah.
no warrants. I do have an outstanding speeding ticket here that I can't,
Yeah.
I've been waiting to pay for it all week, and it just hasn't arrived yet. And we're leaving today, and it's like, I don't know what to do.
Just
How do I pay for this ticket?
just write a really nice letter, be like, "Hey, Gandalf will." Oh, what happened to Gandalf? Where did it end
Oh
up?
yeah, we sold him to a German lady about 5 days ago, 4 days ago. So yeah, we had like a week at the end of the trip to go and sell the van, close the bank
Yeah.
accounts, things like that. And yeah, we did a bunch of viewings with some people, and yeah, this German lady bought it off us.
So it went from a French man to a British couple to a German lady.
Yeah,
Who's next? I'm very curious.
yeah, I know. I'd be really interested to see where it ends up. And it's probably done like I don't know, it must have done a bunch of tours of the South Island by now. Um, we put like 50 or 40,000 kilometers on it
Yeah.
over about a year, and yeah, it's got plenty of life left in him. Gandalf the White.
Was how was the naming convention? Like, how did it come about? I know you're in New Zealand and you're
Oh
close to
yeah. Whoa.
It's a bit upsetting.
Yeah, it's a bit of Lord of the Rings.
It's like, what are we going to call it? And I was like, Gandalf, of course.
Yeah, trusty
There's
Gandalf.
no other.
Very reliable. I think we like also his white and Gandalf the White
yeah.
just suited him. But you know when like you sort of want to shorten it, you're like come on, Gandhi. And we started calling him Gandhi for a little while. But I had no idea why. It was just,
You started.
yeah, it's like, come on, Gandhi, get up this hill. Because, they're a bit slow up the hill. And then
I
it
saw
became
some
Blackbelt.
yeah, I saw some, I guess, highlights, not lowlights of cars in not a running condition that you guys were fixing and stuff on Instagram stories. So I think that was fun to see. I'm sure it's different being in it.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
I always think, when, like, let's say my car broke down in Los Angeles, like, I know who to call, I know how to get around. But when your car breaks down in kind of like middle of nowhere or like another country, that's like a whole another challenge.
Yeah, I guess we could have been a lot worse in some scenarios. We always broke down relatively in luck towns, but
Mhm.
there were times where we were going on gravel roads when we probably shouldn't have been, no phone signal, and you're just like, if we break down now, we are probably shouldn't swear. Um, but yeah, in the middle of nowhere, no phone signal. It's really common here not to have phone signals. So yeah, that could have been a lot worse.
We bumped into a couple of couples where I remember there was it wasn't a Chinese family, but it was like a Chinese like four group of girls, and we were at this like alpaca farm on this hill, like way in the middle of nowhere. And they thought they had a flat battery, so we went and tried to like have this jump kit, tried to jump the car, it wouldn't work. And yeah, they were really really in the middle of nowhere. And I think it was a Sunday. And when just like you ring all these companies and they're like, we could probably come Monday morning. And they're like, oh, but we're on this farm in the middle of nowhere. And we have to I think they had to work the next morning or something, or working like a
Yeah.
hotel nearby.
Yeah, in Christchurch as well, so
Yeah.
2 hours away.
18-month away from UK and then
Yes.
16-month in New Zealand. Did you visit from like north to the south? Like you visit most of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we stayed in the North Island for a whole year. Like we worked in
Yeah.
the North Island. So, I mean, I basically negotiated with my contract that I'd have Friday from 12 p.m. off. So
Mhm.
I'd start really early, and then I'd work so much in the week that I'd have always Friday afternoons off, which was fantastic because we'd just shoot off, get away from the traffic, and we'd always go in the North Island for a weekend in the van. And we made use of the bank holidays here. They've got a lot more than the UK, which is fantastic again. So I didn't have to use much leave. So yeah, we did a lot of the North Island first.
Nice.
We didn't even touch on the South Island until we went skiing
Yeah.
on a plane.
We did one trip down there, not in the van. We just flew down for a week, for a ski trip. And we also went to Fiji for a week, because it's like a 3-hour flight from here, and it's like you
Yeah.
got to go see a Pacific Island while you're the big road trip, the 3-month road trip. We saw a few things on the way down of the North Island that we hadn't yet seen. So we'd done like some of the West Coast. We went right over to the East Coast, which is like really famous for like growing wine. So there's loads of like orchards and vineyards and stuff, and just a few really cool hikes. And there's this one place called Cape Pausa where it's just like a really, really rugged coast, and it's just full of seals, like hundreds of seals, like the whole way down this coast. And you just drive.
San Francisco's you're going to San Francisco soon, right?
Yeah,
San Francisco, you'll see bunches
yeah.
like way like a lot for a very urban city.
Oh
Like
yeah,
when you
that's
you go to it's called Fisherman's Wharf and like kind of like the famous piers, like where the chocolate factory and everything's in. And then
yeah,
you'll see a lot of seals. And like for an urban city, that's kind of rare, I feel like. Like it's not like that
yeah,
in New
yeah.
York. Oh,
Definitely, and that's not what I expected
No,
from
not
America at all.
interested.
There's a couple of towns
yeah.
right down in the bottom of New Zealand that have loads of penguins. Um, and like,
Nice.
they're called little blue penguins.
Yeah.
They're quite rare. They're like 30 centimeters tall. They're absolutely tiny, and they're known as like some of them aren't urban, but there's a few that are known as urban penguins, and they literally have signs in places being like penguin crossing, please like drive, so it's like 10 k's an hour on this road.
Yeah.
Because if you come out at night, like they all fish all day in the sea. So it's nighttime, they all come back on shore, and you're driving along, you have to stop and just let like penguins cross the road, and then they go into the woods, into their burrows, and yeah, it's crazy.
Someone should be a penguin crossing guard. That'd be a nice.
They
Yeah.
legit have them.
Yeah.
I couldn't
They,
believe
they
it.
really?
Yeah, there's to be a
Aw.
guy in an orange vest. Like I think he'd be like a volunteer. Like there was a colony like conservation project going on, and
Yeah.
he'd be outside in the car park, like make people slow down and tell them to wait before penguins are crossing.
Well, the
That's-
conservation is so successful is that they've doubled the population of those penguins. So they go and burrow in the conservation. There's so many of them, but then also they're going around and outside.
Yeah.
So
They live in the town.
and they end up in the town and they're just everywhere.
I'm assuming they're fairly slow, and when they walk by, it's probably the most adorable thing you ever seen.
It is. It's bizarre, but very, very cute.
I would probably think I'm dreaming. I'm like, "Am I dreaming? Am I
Yeah.
high? Am I dying?"
Yeah.
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 So I was gonna originally ask what were the highlights and lowlights of the trip, but since that could be kind of a long answer,
Yeah.
since I'm used to seeing you guys near water with helmets on, that's what I'm used to. But I know you guys been like adventuring up and down New Zealand. I saw you guys in like glaciers, right? Like you were just in water and stuff like that. And I don't know if you edit them chronologically. I don't know if they're just kind of like done by whenever you guys are
Yeah,
sitting.
I was sort of doing it like, yeah, in order so that it sort of like fitted the map.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be like, these 3 days roughly was one reel, these 3 days is roughly the next one. So yeah, the last couple had those glaciers in, and yeah, getting on those glaciers absolutely insane. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, no,
Um,
those are really good pictures. And then I
yeah.
think I don't know if it's like the blue on blue and it's sunny and like that just makes a photo pop, but were there any dangers in your adventures?
To be fair, that glacier tour, they literally said when we got there, like, we need you to all have your own medication because there is a risk that you could get stuck up in the glacier because it's unsafe for the helicopter to come get you back,
Yeah.
and you'd end up camping there. So, like, not a major.
Yeah. I was low key hoping it happened. Like, imagine spending a night sleeping on a glacier on the
Yeah.
ice. It'd
We
be
were
so cool.
both a bit like, "Oh, that'd be really cool." But when we were flying in the helicopter, the guy was like, "Oh, look, there's a big rock fall," and we looked, and there was huge rocks falling down. I've never seen anything like it, and it was just constantly going.
All this dust like
Yeah,
bloomed up, and you just see it like, I don't know, 10, 15 feet away from the helicopter, and you're like, that can't be safe.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And about, I'd say, two, or not the night before, but 2 nights before we went up to the glaciers, they had this crazy rain on the
Mhm.
essentially this west coast of New Zealand is because they have all these Alps, and then the coast is right there by the sea. So all the like wind and moisture that comes off the sea gets like stuck against these mountains because and they call it the wet coast because it just rains there like all the time. And they had a real freak weather event the night that we got to the west coast,
Mm.
and there was 700 millimeters of rain in one night, like 10 hours.
Mhm.
Like, imagine that, like, getting on a meter of rain falling in one place, and because the mountains are all so steep, all the rivers just fill up like straight away. And yeah, it was crazy just driving through this through this valley trying to get to where we're going, and then there just been like hundreds of waterfalls just appearing and then flooding the road.
It's magical. It's
Yeah.
absolutely magical. Like,
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it where you're just driving and these waterfalls are like bashing your car, and you look up and it's like rocky mountains with these waterfalls trickling and like
Yeah.
hammering your car. And it's like unreal, but it's also like, oh crap, like.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys explained that to me because if you texted me that, I'd be like, wait a minute, you drove into a storm. Like, I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's safe?
Um,
Was it ever dangerous driving through that?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
yeah, they kind of get dangerous.
we realized once we got there, we
Mhm.
actually got all these messages on our phones from like the local authorities. Like they can do a text to like everyone in an area. It's quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it just pinged up saying like red weather event. Stay indoors, don't go outside. Get to high ground if the river banks flood. And we got to our campsite, and the lady at the campsite was like, "Oh, this is actually the biggest weather event we've seen in like just however many years she's worked there, like 10 years or something." And then she's like, "Okay, if the riverbanks flood, I'll come out and knock on all your van windows and let you know you need to drive to high ground on the road." It was like, "Oh crap, were we that close?"
You're like, old
Yeah.
Gandhi here could take care of us. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
What I know you're reverse seasons than us, right? Because we're kind of in winter and you're in summer.
It's
Yeah,
just peaking at the summer now, and it's on its way down again.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask you what the temperature is in Celsius or Fahrenheit?
So we're in the top of the North Island now, so we're like 26 degrees, 27 degrees.
Celsius.
Yeah,
Um,
pretty sunny.
Pretty warm, yeah.
Really sunny and very humid in Auckland right now.
Yeah,
Very
real
humid.
humid.
No,
Down the south of the country, probably like 4 degrees cooler, maybe. But the sun is so strong here that even if it's not a hot day, you still got to layer up that factor 50 because the ozone layer is real thin.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
you see loads of people get sunburnt here. Like even on an overcast day, really badly burnt, like blistering shoulders and stuff like really, really bad burnt. So yeah, got to keep covered a lot of the day, even if it's not hot. If it's sunny, like you're really
Have
feel.
you two been victim of the sun at all in a vicious manner down
We
there?
are quite
We've been,
lucky because we are both like quite olive skin,
Yeah.
luckily genetically, and we do lay a factor 50. And we actually like get out of the sun and then try and wear our sun hoodies as well. But we have not been super bad, but like where you just miss your like sun
Yeah.
cream a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like I'd always miss like this little like inside bit of my like bicep and like shoulder in here. Like just you just generally put sun cream on like this, don't you? And then you just have this weird red strip of sunburn. And then on like tell a lie on that glacier trip, um, they told me I couldn't wear my hat
Mhm.
because the helicopter's obviously going to blow it away. And I didn't realize you could put it in your bag and take it out later. I just put it in the lockers that they have at the bottom. Got to the top, put sun cream on, and I even put sun cream on top of my head because I'm balding a little bit. And yeah, I got burnt all on the top of my forehead. I
Oh,
actually got really badly burnt that day, like probably the worst that we've had, just from not
yeah.
wearing a hat for like 2 hours on the glacier. Yeah.
Charlotte, did you use James as like a shield ever?
I mean, I can't I? Just
Yeah.
hide behind him.
Crazy
Yeah, just
shadow.
big tree thing, right? The big tree
Yeah.
effect. Are you guys are leaving, what's your, I mean, this sounds terroristy, but this won't air for a while, so you're fine. What is your flight plan from now? Like you fly
Yeah.
tonight, where do you land?
So we'll land in Honolulu, but we're going to jump straight on an internal flight to Maui.
Yeah.
So we've got Maui for 5 days, and hopefully do some exploring. Lots of like snorkeling and stuff to do around there, and then we're going to fly to Big Island.
Mhm.
I forget what the local name for it is, but yeah, Big
Yeah.
Island. And we're staying in like a batch. Like that's another Kiwi word actually for like holiday home.
Yeah.
Someone's like holiday home, like way out in the sticks, in the south near the Volcanoes National Park. And we're just going to go do hiking in the national park for like 3 4 days. Is the plan? Go up as many of the big ones as we can, and maybe do. There's a famous like manta ray experience you can do there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so gonna have a look at that.
Is
Yeah,
it
so
is it manta ray mating season?
Not bad. Not sure. We know it's humpback season.
Yeah.
Season when we get there. Not sure if it's manta ray. Not checked.
But I said it's most of the year there. They have mantas there, and because they put these lights in the water at night to
Yeah.
like uh, mimic like some sort of scenario that creates lots of krill, and then the mantas just go and feed on krill. Yeah, so you can go see it. Yeah, so plenty of wildlife. That's mainly the crux of our tour there, and then we've got 2 days in Honolulu right at the end. Kind of just waiting for our flight, but we're not too big on the. It's all in my head. It's like shopping malls and a bit more of a different scene compared to the other islands, Hawaii. But we'll still go and do some of the big walks, like the Diamond Head Walk, things like
Nice. Are you guys gonna go visit, I think Hawaii has some pretty waterfall, I don't know the names, but they have pretty big waterfalls. If you could
I
get
think
to
there's
those,
one
that'd be great.
called Rainbow Falls. I think that's one of them. I think I just we're getting used to obviously you have to pay for these things in America. Not everything, but like your national
Yeah.
parks. And
Yeah.
when obviously in New Zealand, like you just go, anyone can go anywhere pretty much. You don't
Yeah.
need to unless you're doing one of the great walks where you have to book your hut. Like
Mhm.
other than that, everything's like very free and open. Whereas here, I'm like, oh, they're like, oh, if you want to come up to the top of this mountain, you have to book. I'm like, you don't have to book. We
that.
quite like deciding what the weather's going to be like and then just deciding the day before. But we're going to have
Yeah.
to be a bit more organized, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just because of the amount of tourism, right?
I'm
Yeah.
I'm a bit, as a person, I think I'm a bit ashamed saying I think America wants to charge you for everything. They want to see like money come up front. But as someone who grew up in capitalism, I'm like, that's fantastic. Let's
Yeah.
the money we could get.
Yeah.
But after Hawaii, are you going to Nevada or are you going to California?
We're going to go flying to San Fran. I think it's the cheapest flight we found a while ago.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a lot of San Fran, Hawaii like transit and change.
yeah.
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 So flying to San Fran, and then just a couple of days in San Fran, see some of the big sites. I've never actually been to the States before, believe it or not. Yeah, so first time for me.
This interview ends.
Yeah.
Now.
So yeah, first time, and then we're going to fly to Vegas, but we're going to rent a car from Vegas, and we're going to drive into Death Valley for a few days and just go explore that national
Nice,
park,
nice.
which should be cool. And then do a day or two doing trashy things in Vegas. Potentially get married,
Oh, it's okay. That's exciting. Keep me updated. I'm sure I'll see you. Very exciting. If you go to, so San Francisco, you guys are good with maps, so I probably don't have to tell you, but San Francisco Airport is not really in San Francisco.
Yeah.
It's like a hint south of.
I
So wherever you're staying, just kind of plan around that.
think we booked our Airbnbs like really close to the airport, like
Yeah.
because we did have a hotel at Fisherman's Wharf, which I think you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
and then we had a panic because we were like, "Oh my god, it's getting so expensive! It's America!" And then so we cancelled this nice hotel, and we're like, "We'll just go and get into our lane a little bit," and
Yeah, no.
went
I
back.
think we went a bit over budget and doing a few big tours here. So we're kind of like, let's just bring the budget down a bit for San Fran.
Yeah,
It's okay. We'll do some black market physiotherapy slash van conversions or anything like that. I'm excited. After that, will you be going back to UK?
Yeah, yeah. Back to the UK. We actually cashed in like 90% of our air miles on business class flights to San Fran back home. Just to treat ourselves one last time.
That's
Um,
good.
yeah. So I think it's the first time either of us have ever flown
yeah.
business before, and
I
it's
think we're
good.
going to ruin our experience forever when
Yeah,
we go back to economy.
But yeah, so that's San Fran to Heathrow, and then we're back home, and then we've got a bunch of family to go visit that they've not seen for getting on 2 years. So yeah, go do a little tour of the UK, see lots of family and friends.
Nice. Where is most of your family in the UK?
Oh, it is honestly dotted everywhere.
I think we'll start in London because I've got some family like South
Yeah.
London, and then we're going to go to a place. I don't know if you know the UK very well, Bristol, Cardiff.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know. I know the England map. I know is based on the football teams.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
So if they have a football team, I know. I kind of know where it is. Yeah.
Bristol, Cardiff. It's called Northampton.
the
Yeah.
Midlands,
Northampton. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're going to go right up to the north in Scotland, where my town lives, and go visit some that family there.
In London, in England, you could get by all the cities without a car, right? You could kind of take the train around and stuff.
yeah.
Could the trains are crazy expensive?
They're
I
so
think.
expensive.
Yeah, we do have
Yeah.
a car, so we'll just be driving it.
It's the classic that we're trying. Everyone, the government wants you to be more green, but then they put all the public transport is so expensive. So it's like, well, what? You can get coaches around, but oh, it's painful getting coaches sometimes. So yeah, we're unfortunately just going to take our car.
Get around, go around.
It makes sense to somebody. Does your car in England?
Oh, you know what? I used to call it Mustang Sally. But I used to have this old like Ford Fiesta ST, and I just
Yeah.
pretended it was a Mustang because it's nowhere near a Mustang.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to call it Sally. But I sold that to buy the van here on this trip. So I'm going to be adopting a little Peugeot 206, which is like this tiny little hairdresser's car.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice.
and yeah, I'll pretend that's Sally instead.
Are you gonna call? Would it be like Sally too?
Sally too. Oh,
Ooh.
right. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if we might get another Lord of the Rings character out for it.
To say more like a Hobbit name.
Yeah, definitely a Hobbit.
Frodo,
Maybe a Samwise Gamgee.
because it's a good helper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where can we find you guys on social media and all the good stuff?
Yeah. So we're pretty much solely on Instagram. I keep debating starting a YouTube channel, and Charlotte's like, "Nope, not doing it. I refuse to go on there. No, it's too much for me." But yeah, we're pretty much just on Instagram. We're at Charlotte underscore and underscore James, Charlotte and James. Um, and yeah, you'll see a load of our like vlogs from New Zealand and hopefully some more from Hawaii and the States. By the time this gets aired, maybe.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a fan of your Instagram channel, obviously, but I notice a lot of your followers have been following me, and I'm like, I haven't traveled in a while, so I feel underwhelmed by myself. I'm like, I need to post old content or something. But no, I really like your content. Obviously, I might be a little bit biased, but it's fun. Your maps are great. Um, credit to your. I always forget the app's name, but credit to the app. And then, who's doing the? Do you guys take turns editing? Is it mostly James? Mostly
Yeah,
James.
yeah, 99.
I think
I have to go and get it approved. Like, is this okay? Is this what we were agreed on?
So she's the talent producer and kind of like the big boss of it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I sit there overthinking it, going, "Oh, it's too long," and then I start doing all this weird stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
the average watch time, did it? She's like, "If you like it, just post it. Like, don't worry." Yeah.
I think I'm not very good. I've not got a lot of patience sometimes. Most
Yeah.
time. So I tried a couple. You like, oh, go on, try and make a reel. So I did, and then it froze, and then it crashed, and I was like, no, I'm not doing it. Da, da, da. I get very like, but no, we do discuss what we want from it. I'm a little bit more reserved. I get a little bit scared of the amount of followers we have and what people comment on and what they're seeing. Just
Mhm.
I don't like sometimes that is it just scares me a little bit. I can also get a little bit protective and a little bit feisty at a comment where I'm reading it how I interpret it and it's probably not
Yeah.
even meant to. So he's just like, "Come, don't say anything." I'm like, "Oh, but they're being mean." But I know it's really silly, but I think that side of it I just don't like from social media. So
Mhm.
I try to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
Um,
But on the total flip side,
yeah,
how nice is it when you get a DM from someone just saying, "Oh, like thank you so much for this. Like it's really helped plan this trip or something," and you're like, you know what, that's great. I'm very glad that what we've done so far, and even if it only helps 10 people, like that's fine. It's all good.
here's the brains of it, really. Like you do all the editing, you get all the footage, and that's why he's always speaking on it. I don't think I could take it seriously and I'd mash it up. But yeah, I think it maybe just balances it a little bit because, like, yeah, you said you do overthink it, and then I kind of bring it back and be like, well, the whole point we started this was actually to show what we've enjoyed doing
Mhm.
and what we like. It's not for anyone else. So stop don't overthink that part. If you like it and we like it, then just post it. Like it's what we want to do, right?
Mhm.
So bring it
No, it's
back to
good. And I'm not saying that because I'm face to face with you. I'm it's fun. It's fun, and then I like seeing your channel growing. That's fun too. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, that's good. It was when you're making your maps. I'm like, I did wonder. I'm like, is he writing everything and he's telling her to do stuff, or is she calling the shots and he's just doing all the editing? So I was kind of curious about that. So no, but it's good. I need to come up with better words than good and nice. I notice I say nice a lot. So we have a bunch of demo podcasts that I did with my friends. And every time someone said anything, anytime I segue to a next question or next topic, I would be like, nice. Anyway, like nice. So stuff like that.
I think
But
it's the same.
Think I say, well, you can use this if you want grand. I say grand a lot.
grand.
That's
Yeah.
grand.
No, I love other culture slang because it's so much better than ours. Ours is like, ugh, like cool.
Missed out the biggest one here. Sweet as.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't say sweet as,
You could be Kiwi and you could go sweet as.
or just anything as.
That's their big thing there as well.
Yeah, sweet as, bro.
Sweet as, bro. That'd be a
What time's your flight?
10:30 tonight, so we get into Hawaii 8 in the morning, which is quite nice.
8 in the morning of the day we're at now.
Yeah, so
Very bizarre.
So today's Valentine's Day, and so we're gonna get a whole Valentine's Day, fly to Hawaii, and then it'll be 8 a.m. on Valentine's Day again, and we'll get the whole Valentine's Day again. So
I'm
it's like 40 hours.
I hope budget wise it's okay for you, Mr. James. And then secondly, I had this great idea. I felt like I was robbed of one New Year's because I was in Afghanistan and it was a very hectic New Year's Eve. So I'm like, one day I'm gonna go to Australia or New Zealand, party, and then fly to Hawaii and celebrate like a second New Year's, like back to back.
Oh yeah,
I've
that's
heard
a great
people do
idea.
that. So I might do that next year or the year after. So we'll
Yeah,
see. And then
you just got to make sure you do your flight like the whole way around the world, and then you have to like do it backwards.
I was looking up. Someone told me this Guinness World Record of someone who it's the fastest. It's the person who visit all the countries the fastest. Like, but I'm like, don't you have to figure out logistics? Because I'm sure driving to some borders is quicker than flying. But some man did like every country in like 6 months or something. I
That's
forgot the
crazy.
yeah.
Wow.
I was like,
I thought,
what?
sorry, I read about some girl that visited every country, like the youngest girl to visit all countries or youngest
Yeah.
person. She was like 22 or 23, and I was sat there being like, "How are you this far ahead of me? I've 10,
Well,
10 plus years of you, and you
money.
the whole country, the whole world." So
We don't have that luxury of money,
yeah,
unfortunately. We need to get big somehow, win the lottery.
I want to be some weird record holder, like first person in the Western Hemisphere in California who's born in March to have visited all the country. I'm like, yes,
yeah,
me. No one's gonna beat that record until someone does,
yeah.
right? No, that's good. How many on this 18 month, how many countries have you been to?
Ooh.
Before Malaysia, Vietnam, Bali, Australia, New Zealand, Fiji.
And then so far 7, but then
America.
America on the way home 8.
8.
Nice. And then mostly in New Zealand, correct?
Yeah, yeah, almost, yeah, 90% time we've been in New Zealand.
Do you know how many like city propers you've been to in New Zealand?
City propers, I think there are only 3 or 4 maybe actual cities that are big enough.
No.
'Cause
Yeah.
the population of New Zealand is tiny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
1 million.
5 million people, and Auckland is like 1.6 mil, and then the rest of the so that's like, almost a what, third of the population is all in one city in the north,
Yeah.
and then spread out across the rest of the country. Yeah.
Nice. Question for both. Um, Separate question. It could be the same answer. If you could relive one day in New Zealand or one location, where would it be and why?
I think one of our days in Iraqi Mount Cook,
Yeah.
um, I'd like to relive that day because we had this absolute bluebird day, but someone had a little foot injury, so we just decided to relax that day. And then all the other days there were like really, really like grey and horrible.
Yeah.
Not great and horrible, but just not like spectacular like that day was. And we were going to do this big, big like 8 hour like return hike up to this Miller Hut where you can see like this incredible like vista. So yeah, that'd be the one day I'd relive if I could.
It's to me, I mean, it's not hilarious. I'm not trying to be mean, but when a PT or a physio gets injured, I'm like, why?
Honestly, I am never going to live this down.
No,
that
it will,
day.
it will be.
Like, I've had this foot injury brewing for a while because ultimately my calves are probably not strong enough.
It was something like 35 day hikes in 50 days and some crazy amount of Ks. And like some of the mountains are just, crazy steep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the worst thing was is that we'd done the hike the day before, and it was a really chill, like not even a very much incline hike. It was super easy, and I remember my foot was in agony the whole way around, and I was like, "This is an easy hike. Why is my foot so sore?" And then the whole night it was sore. Woke up in the morning, it was sore, and we were supposed to go up this. It's a crazy amount of stairs, and it was like high, and I was like, I just don't think I'm going to get up it without really injuring it, and then really ruining the rest of like our hikes that we had. So we had to sacrifice it. But yeah, I'll never live that down.
No,
Was she like Frodo and you're like Sam?
I mean, Sam would have helped me up the mountain, but this one just blamed me.
well, we just did some other smaller walks instead, and like
You just gave her, you're supposed to give her like a stick and be like, deal with it. And like, abandon your profession.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend who's a PT. She just got injured. And I'm like, what? What is this? It's like a doctor getting cancer. Like, like PTs get injured too. I'm like, well,
yeah.
um,
Well,
are you better now?
oh yeah,
Yeah, it was a weird one. We had so but over in Dunedin, real south, we had the house sit and we we're looking after a dog. So we didn't actually have any big hikes booked because we couldn't leave the dog. Really, it's a bit unfair.
Yeah.
So I think I had a good time to really rest it there. Because I was really worried after.
yeah. Dialed in from my phone just because my laptop went a bit crazy. No idea why.
Is this your military email?
Yes.
Oh, oh wait, it's not. It's not. It's just I think during COVID we did a load of like Zoom calls and Zoom meetings and things, and they were like, "You have to put your name, rank, and whatever in your in your."
I'm like, I've seen that. I've seen those letters together before. Yeah, we have a friend. My dog's sleeping up there. He's alive. He's just sleeping. Quick questions. Did you get to watch the Super Bowl?
Yeah, yeah, we watched it at 12:30 in the afternoon on a Monday, which was pretty
Great.
cool. Didn't have to stay up crazy late. Normally in the UK, we're like it's like 3, 4 a.m. and you're like struggling to stay awake.
It's yeah, that was pretty rough when I was in Europe. I'm like, oh, I could stay up. I'm like falling asleep. And then here that's fairly normal. So on the West Coast, the first game start at 10 a.m. and then the Sunday night game starts at 5:30 our like Pacific time. So in New
Yeah.
York, the games wrap around like 11, but here you could still go out afterwards. It's kind of weird. So when I talk to like my
Yeah.
East Coast friends, they're like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "It's 8." He's like, "Oh." Yeah, it got cut off, but Charlie, do you remember what you were saying? Can you repeat exactly word per word so I could
I've no idea, but your dog has woken up.
Yeah, he's
Very
there.
cute.
That's Oscar. He's 12. He looks young. Yeah, he was, I don't know if you saw earlier, I was, like, fidgeting, that he was under me, and then when they got disconnected, he kinda looked up, so I just kinda threw him up there, but we're probably gonna go on a walk after this. So, glad you saw the Super Bowl. Thoughts?
Oh, it was a great game, to
Great
be fair.
game. Yeah.
I think I prefer the Niners to win. I wouldn't mind them having one back.
That's a really
Um,
good answer to say before you go to San Francisco.
yeah. Where is this guy? Yeah. No, I felt like they were a great team, and I was absolutely gutted for Dre Greenlaw that tore his Achilles just on
Yeah.
the side. So gutted for him. Oh man.
I remember I was watching that with my family. So my cousin's in town from Korea, so it's like her first Super Bowl on TV or live or anytime. So we're watching it, and then they show the replay of him like running from the sideline and he fell. I'm like, oh, he's out. He's out for the game. And she's like, what happened?
Mhm.
Like nothing. Like he fell. I'm like, he probably tore something. And my uncle came and he's like, God, they're done. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's the second quarter. Calm down. But I'm sure that I think that had a lot to do with it. And then the blocked extra point, since that skewed the math.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So, yeah. No, it's always great finding. I know NFL is trying to go global now, but it's nice finding football fans in um, non-American countries.
Yeah. I actually used to play. I used to play tight end. We used to have a
Yeah, yeah.
little. We had a league in the UK, and it's all it's all amateur. There's no one getting paid. But yeah, absolutely loved it. Really good fun. And a lot of
I,
universities have teams. Well,
say that one more time.
a lot of universities will have teams now as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like university leagues.
I saw,
Obviously, it's nowhere near
I saw a
standard, but
bunch of young lads by what's the park next to Buckingham Palace?
Green Park.
Green Park
Yeah.
and Hyde Park.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of people playing American football there. I was like, "What is happening?" So I'm like, "Can I throw like three?" So because I have to. What are you guys good flyers? Do you sleep well on planes? Are you guys not good flyers?
We're relatively good. I think
Yeah,
we think we just learned. Like I could sleep quite well. I have my but I always have to make sure I'm warm for a start. Like I hate being cold, so
Yeah,
I have jumpers, pajamas packed, and I have like a mask packed, and normally a neck pillow as well. And if I'm feeling really good, I have a hoodie up, and I'll just proper snooze.
there's a Charlotte sleeping sizzle reel on your Instagram, right?
oh yeah,
Yes,
the cup
Yeah,
one.
yeah, you did.
yeah.
So I got good at napping everywhere.
Yeah, like that was pretty pro. Like I'm obviously you're probably the same. Being in the military, you're on some crazy loud truck driving in the middle of nowhere, and somehow you'll still manage to like fall asleep with your neck crook like 90-degree angle. And so yeah, that's definitely how I learned that skill, just being able to sleep anywhere, just from being crazy tired in the military. But yeah, I have no idea. We'd be on like a bus in Vietnam, and yeah, and you'd be asleep, and I would be mad impressed because not only me asleep.
I think for me it's a little bit of sometimes if I'm hungry or a bit anxious to travel, sometimes get a bit angsty, a bit like oh, don't want to be stuck. So actually sleeping for me just knocks me out and just stops thinking about it. So I think that's what I've learned to do.
I wish more people could do that because some people just get overly anxious. I'm like, you're not flying the plane. Just we could get through this. Are you guys since you guys are flying as a duo, like how do you pick aisle window
Oh,
seats?
we just had this last night checking in, which is quite funny. So I'm always like, I want the views. I want window. And Charlotte's like, no, I need to be near the toilet. I need to have access to the toilet. I need to be on the aisle. And of course, when you have like a three-seater, like this one's like, I think it's like 3, 4, 3, like three
Mhm.
seats, 4 seats, 3 seats, bigger plane. Suddenly, like on small European flights, like where it's just like three each side easy. But here, there's so many more options. So I think we settled on middle and aisle on the but somewhere with like close to a good view. So I'm just going to encroach over someone else. Like,
Time. You're not going to see much of a view.
I'm a child. I have to see the lights, and also it'll be nice in the morning getting to Hawaii and seeing the views. Yeah,
Yeah, you guys are going through some dramatic sun coming up or like around the horizon because you're going right. You're going flying east, right? New Zealand to
yeah,
Hawaii. My family
yeah.
loves telling me when I fly over to Pacific, they're like, if you crash, make sure like your cell phone's on. I'm like, what do you why would my cell phone work in the middle of the Pacific? Why are you telling me this? That's send me a beacon. Send me a radio.
Yeah.
You think I get coverage out there? Like, they're like, you never know. I'm like, I hate you. Don't call me. But No, have a great flight. This was fun. Hopefully do another one when you're back at home, like around 2.
Hmm.
Do you think you're gonna keep let me rephrase that question. Will you be posting travel content after you go back to London?
Yeah, I think I mean, I've still got a good hard drive of stuff that haven't really gone through yet.
Mhm.
So there's plenty of stuff to get out there. And I think, yeah, there's obviously Hawaii, America, and I think we're actually going to do a bit of like UK travel for a while because we're going to be living in Scotland for a little bit, which is like
Oh, nice.
real crazy. Yeah, we'll have some stuff to share for sure. But yeah, I'd say, oh God, I'd say 60 or 70% of our followers are like traveling New Zealand right now, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
it's going to be, I don't know if it will hit well or not. Or
I think it just it depends on your community. If your community like you as people, then they like I'm the same. I follow people, and if I like them as a person, if they change their content slightly, I'm not too upset. I actually quite like to follow, right, like what they're doing. So I think it could be same, or you could just lose a button. But for me, it doesn't really. I don't really.
yeah, it's not too much. As long as
Yeah.
we're still doing what we do,
Yeah.
having fun.
Domestic version, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, domestic travel. I have a friend, they were vanning around America, and then they decided selfishly have kids. I'm like, "Ugh, kids." But, now I think they're doing kinda like weekend trips with the baby. Shout outs
Oh
to
yeah.
Market in for that
Yeah, yeah.
recently. I think there's more that I've seen about like not letting your life end as you have children, like
Yeah.
taking them and travel with them, as
Yeah,
much as you can.
yeah,
I
more
think
power
I
to them,
follow. I think it's on the joint account, but I think we follow like 20, 30 family couples that
Mm.
are doing a lap of Australia in their
mhm.
van with like two kids or more, and it actually looks quite crazy fun. Like each day you're at a different beach, somewhere different, and it's like camping every single day. Like it just looks so much fun.
Yeah.
So that could be us in 5 years' time. You never know.
Do they okay, I'm gonna record this. I'm gonna play this back 5 years from now and see what happens. I met a man, I forgot how I met him, but I met him, but he's a pretty big influencer. He's, like an older gentleman. He's a Black American, but he has, like, 5 kids, but I think he's sponsored by, like, TripAdvisor or one of the big companies. So he goes to, like, grand vacations, but he takes, like, 4 to 5 kids with him and a wife.
Oh wow, that's
So
pretty big.
unless he has a side hustle that I don't know about, but he's like, "Yeah, you should stay here in Maldives." I'm like, "I can't afford 3,000
Yeah,
a night. What did what
yeah,
you think I am?"
yeah.
Like, so I have a this was fun. Do you have any questions for me?
Oh,
Where are you going next?
where's next? Where's next in your adventure?
I'm trying to go to Mexico, but that's a pretty quick drive for me. It's like a 2-hour drive. And
Oh,
then, yeah, so in like California, you'll know because you guys are map masters. California, where I live, is closer to Mexico than another state. It's kind of interesting. And then, my friends, I don't know what he's doing, but I'm gonna go see him and come back. And then I'm trying to go to, I haven't been to the Baltic states. I know you guys say things are Baltic when things are cold, right? Like a British. Yeah. So I want to go like Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, but like no hurry. I'm sure those countries will be there. My grandma's kind of ill, so my mom's being very odd lately, but she thinks my grandma's gonna pass this year. I'm like, do you have an
Hmm.
insurance claim? Like, why are you betting on this? And then so we might go to Korea in September. So if I go there in September, I'm gonna try to go to like Southeast Asia. So kind of like where you guys were, maybe a little bit more north, maybe like Myanmar, Cambodia, Vietnam. Yeah.
sounds like
Nothing for sure, but we'll definitely keep you guys updated. Yeah.
any good ideas, eh? That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Thank you.
luck.
Thank you. Yeah. What if I said like, oh, I'm not traveling anymore. I am staying here with that thing. So
I wouldn't believe you, but I'd also be like, that's cool.
Yeah.
yeah.
I know there's stuff to do in the US, to be fair. Like,
Yeah.
in my buddy ages ago, we're planning to go to, we wanted to do like a West Coast road trip and go to like Zion National Park and, um, yeah, just all around there. That was the plan and then go up to, what's the national park we want to go to?
Yosemite.
Yeah, and then up to Yosemite and sort of do like a bit of a loop, like down the coast and then up.
I don't I don't
Um,
wanna I don't wanna break your agenda, but Zion is not too far from Vegas.
yeah, yeah, it's,
So
uh, I did debate it for a little while, but we just couldn't make the math. And
so it's it's doable, and then it's a fairly easy drive. It's not a difficult drive. It's like a what?
So version 1 of it, before we changed it to like version 6, version 1 of this trip was like, we're going to fly to San Fran, and then we're going to get a camper van, and we were going to drive like San Fran, Yosemite, and then like all the way down to Vegas, and then leave the car, and then or drive it all the way back again, like along the like west coast. But it was like it's really really cold. We bought we'd rented out this cheap camper van with like a rooftop tent. We didn't like I don't know.
Someone rented it but didn't check like the weather or the season. So I went, it's going to get quite close to like less than 10 degrees Celsius at night. It's going to be pretty Baltic.
And then it was like, oh yeah, most of Yosemite kind of like closes up in the winter because like the roads freeze and all this stuff. And it's like, oh, you know what, this is probably a lot better. And then it was like
no power sites.
We couldn't find anywhere to camp the van. Yeah, it all just became a bit of a logistical nightmare. So we're just like, right, we'll just fly and then get a car each end and do some bits and bobs.
This is why we need a woman in our lives. This is why men need people to kind of make sense and be like, have you thought about? I'm like, no, I have not thought about this. I just thought about jumping off cliffs and life will go on.
Yeah.
Fun American warning. Charlotte, have you been to the States?
Yeah, I've been a couple of times. Yeah.
So Americans are very bad about Celsius and Fahrenheit, like very bad. Like I think worse than like we're not so good with maps. Like I'm good with maps because I don't know the military, or travel, but we're bad with maps, and then they're very bad with Celsius and Fahrenheit. So if you say some weird universal alien language to American, like it's 30 degrees Celsius, they'd be like, I don't know what that is.
I can't do the math for Fahrenheit.
I don't know.
They're like, huh? Yeah. Like, do you know what it is? Yeah.
In my head, it makes so much sense because it's like, oh, 0 is freezing. Great. Yeah. Okay. 0 is cold. Anything above that's warm. Anything below that's really fucking cold. Whereas Fahrenheit, it's like, oh, is it like 40 is 0?
32 point something 0.
Okay.
Yeah, they really skew that pooch up. I'm like, why do we even have this? I'm not measuring anything. It's like 25, 30. I'll know the difference. Like I'll figure it out. Yeah, that's what I think it was when I moved here was winter and it was 46 degrees Fahrenheit. But as a kid, I thought that was 46 degrees Celsius. I'm like, oh, like why is it so hot in the winter? And then I walked out and it was like windy and gray. I'm like, who's posting this? So there's that. And then people drive here funny, but you'll adjust fine. But people don't drive well.
Yeah, to be fair,
New Zealanders aren't great.
New Zealand's been interesting.
In a way.
So there are pretty much like at least you have highways, so you have space to drive in the US here. So
we have space to drive only at certain times.
Yeah.
And other times it's like everybody's in there. Yeah.
So Auckland to Wellington, so North Island, biggest city to the capital city in New Zealand. There's the Highway 1. You think, oh, the Highway 1, yeah, that's going to be pretty big. But you'd think that'd be a pretty big road, right? Biggest city to the biggest city in North Island, New Zealand. And you leave Auckland and it's 3 lanes. Okay, cool, sweet, 3 lanes. And then suddenly, like in 5K, it's down to 2 lanes. And then it's down to 1 lane. And then suddenly it's this little road, like country lane, going through like through the mountains, through the hills, and you're just like, what? Where did the Highway 1 go? It's crazy.
The way to Wellington.
Yeah, all the way down. Just winding away through the hill. Yeah, wow.
I mean, I'm saying goodbye like I'm dying, but I'm very happy for you guys. And then, yeah, no, it's been exciting. I know we met kind of based on chance, but I'm glad we kept in touch. And then it's nice seeing you guys because I've never been to New Zealand. I've never been to Australia. I was supposed to go to where does she live? I have a friend who lives in Gold Coast. So in Australia. So I was gonna go visit her, but she decided to up her life and become Charlotte's here. But she's now flying for Dubai, like Emirates Airline. So she decided to leave Australia. And I'm like, I've been to Dubai. I don't want to go to Dubai. I want to go to like Sydney. I want to go to like Gold Coast. So she's not there. So I'll probably just go by myself.
Yeah. I'm rapidly trying to like X on my laptop, by the way. It's finally just caught up like half an hour later, and it's like, oh, join the meeting.
Whose computer is it, and why does it hate us?
It's my computer. I bought it like maybe a year before COVID, and then over the military for like 6 months. It just turned off and went in the cupboard, and it's just never been the same since I left it off for 6 months. It's just crazy slow. But I've not been doing enough stuff to warrant buying a better one. But I think we're probably going to buy a nicer one when we get in.
Do you want a Mac and Apple?
Yeah. I want-
Wait, you want a Mac and Charlotte's a what?
Oh no, this computer is a Lenovo Microsoft something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're both want a Mac when we get back. Just need-
I'm highly debating on getting an Apple Vision Pro, which is a huge waste of money, but I'll have an Apple Vision Pro and I could pinch things and talk to you guys in a goggle. So whoa, going crazy now.
That's
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is how the episode's gonna start out with multiple Charlottes in the room and like an AI and all that good stuff. But yeah, safe flight today. I will definitely keep an eye on content. Are you guys? I know you edit and post things. When you post stories, that's fairly live. That's fairly like on time.
Yeah, the stories will be. I think we generally do like, say we do a day of stuff, we'll just chuck it on the stories the next morning, and then
Mhm.
just keep doing that whole trip. But then the content's probably like a week to 10 days behind, just because we're only. I don't want to do a reel every day, so probably do like a reel every like 3 days of 3 days, and then yeah, something like that.
I've been
So it's like yeah, maybe 2 reels a week, something like that.
Yeah, it's no, it's good work because I feel like I don't think editing's hard per se, but it's like the fine tuning of it, right? Because you're always like, I can make it better. I could add this. I could do that. I always do that. I have a video highlight of me from I think Italy from like fall of 2022 or 2021, and I'm like, I'll edit it one day. Just sitting in my hard drive. Yeah.
Yeah, no, agree on that. And then suddenly, like, I don't know, you do something on your GoPro or your drone, and then you have all this like gigabytes worth of stuff, and you're like, oh, I can't put that on my phone and upload it. So yeah, there's plenty of stuff sat on this hard drive that we're carrying around with us.
Nice. One quick drone question. Have you had any so you're flying the drones and filming, correct?
Yeah,
Have you had any bad, like, wind problems while flying at all in the wonderful world of
uh, there's definitely been a few times where we've been somewhere like really cool, but it's just been crazy windy, and I'm just not just knowing that it's just going to fly around. I wouldn't say I've had anything too bad. I have a few clips where you can see it's like doing some small adjustments, nothing
Mhm.
crazy. You know, when you're really close to the floor, you notice it a lot. When you're really high, you barely notice a thing. Yeah.
And then it didn't get stuck in a tree or a fire pole or telephone wire or anything like that?
No, no, we've been good. I mean, no, actually, tell you what, I have clipped one like little branch once and it fell to the floor. Minor heart attacks. It's probably like the second time I flew that drone. But generally, no, we're okay. Yeah, nothing too crazy. I think we've had once where we tried to like drive and fly it, so it, like follow the car for a bit, and it lost connection. And then it was like, oh, we're returning to home. And I was like, oh, home is like K down the road. I better
Yeah.
drive back real quick before it lands. That's probably the hairiest moment we've had.
You need a command called return to Gandalf.
Yeah.
That's the return back. They'll help you.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. Of course. This has been fun. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Toodaloo.
Ciao.
Bye.
You're listening to Waste Your Time Wisely podcast.